We continue to follow breaking news from a short time ago, just outside of a pre-K school here in Little Rock.
Police tell us a woman is dead and a suspect is in custody after a shooting in the parking lot of the Rockefeller Early Childhood Center this afternoon. THV 11's Catherine Rowley has been on the scene since we learned about the incident.
Yeah, Catherine, we've gotten more information here in the last half hour or so. What can you tell us?
Well, Faith and Rowley, we still don't know a ton about what happened, but I can tell you that earlier this afternoon around 3 p.m., that it's that time that we say that that shooting happened. That's when LRPD was alerted to shots fired right behind me. Now, I will say there are a lot of people that have been very worried about students, and parents have been able to come pick them up. The district has said that no students witnessed the incident. Behind me, there was some crime scene tape earlier today. That was taken down, but where the shooting happened, kind of on the back lot of the property, is still up. Now, when officers arrived on the scene, they found an unresponsive female suffering from a gunshot wound. She later died of her injuries at the scene. Police say that this does have early signs of indications that this was a domestic incident. Now, there was a statement set out by the Little Rock School District about 45 minutes ago, and they said in part that the Little Rock School District is heartbroken to share a tragic domestic incident occurred outside Rockefeller Early Childhood Center this afternoon. Now, this was an isolated incident. While no students were involved, we know that this event deeply impacts our entire school family, especially the staff members who may have witnessed the event. Like I said, parents were able to pick up their students earlier today, and the district has deployed counselors and social workers to support the families, students, and anyone else who might be having a difficult time with this incident. They are also working very closely with the Little Rock Police Department. Now, the school district did update their statement a little bit ago. That's where we learned the information that no students were involved in the incident or witnessed the incident. LRPD did tell me that there could be new information coming out a little bit later tonight, but as of right now, it is still a very active crime scene with police cars and police officers still working the scene. If there is any additional information, we will be sure to update you.
All right, Catherine, thank you. We're also hearing from Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. He sent out a statement earlier this evening.
His office releasing a statement saying in part, "We are outraged, angry, and heartbroken that this crime occurred in such proximity to our precious children. At the same time, we are grateful for the nurturing, caring hands of the Rockefeller staff that keep students safe today and every day."
He goes on to say that the city's sympathies and prayers are with that victim, again, of the Little Rock School District and their loved ones. You can read that full statement right now on THV11.com.
Cooler temperatures today and a few spotty showers remaining around central Arkansas. Here's what it looks like in the metro, and there have been some travel impacts because of the rain. Here's one south of Cabot on the Lone Oak-Pulaski County line. Another that's kicking off a pretty good outflow boundary. That's out of southern Conway County, moving into northern Perry. Another little cell in Garland, and a few more out towards Scott, Logan counties. Broader perspective does in fact show that there are a few more around the state. Rain chances will continue through the evening hours. When the sun sets, we'll lose a lot of the fuel for those thunderstorms. Current temperatures: Little Rock 89, Searcy 89. It's 89 in Batesville. Now, we have had some cloud cover and some rain. That's kicking that temperature down just a bit. 95 Camden, 94 Texarkana. Current heat index values: 96 Little Rock is what it feels like outside. Feels like 95 in Clinton and 101 down in Camden. Here's what you can expect the next 3 days. Some much better temperatures on the way. We are going to warm up a little heading into your weekend, but wait till you see what we have to close out August. I'll have that forecast in a few minutes.
Tom, thanks. New information in a 3-year-long legal saga. The former sheriff of Hot Spring County has been sentenced to 2 years in federal prison for lying to agents. Scott Finkbeiner misled the FBI to protect his personal drug supplier while under investigation for using crack cocaine and meth. He admitted to being present during a controlled drug buy and hiding the truth about it. Finkbeiner is also set to serve 3 years of supervised release. And with attention coming from around the world after the killings of a married couple along a hiking trail, critics are questioning why the accused killer's recent court date went behind closed doors.
Andrew McCann pleaded not guilty, but the media and public couldn't see that after the judge closed the courtroom. Bo Russell looks into how often that's ever allowed.
I've gotten a lot of questions through email and social media about McGann's arraignment, but before I get to those, let me back up and quickly recap what's happened since McGann was arrested. On August 1st, Andrew McGann made his first appearance before a judge for an 8.1 hearing. Media was allowed into the lobby of the Washington County Jail's courtroom, where the courtroom's live feed was played through a TV in the lobby. A few weeks later, on August 14th, media arrived at the county jail for McGann's arraignment and were greeted by a court order on the door, prohibiting media from recording inside or around the courtroom. That's not unusual in high-profile cases like this one. What was unusual, however, was that the TV and speakers were turned off, and black paper covered the window looking into the courtroom. When asked about the decision to close the hearing to the public, Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter had this to say.
This office has released all of the facts of the investigation that it's ever going to release in this case.
Following the hearing, I posted this video on 5 News social media accounts explaining what had happened at the county jail. We immediately received comments and emails seen here, raising questions and concerns as to why the hearing was closed to the public. Even State Senator Terry Rice of Waldron raised questions about this during a Game and Fish in Arkansas State Police meeting.
I read an article while we were sitting here about the judge closed the courtroom today and even taped over the one window that you could see in the courtroom, but I don't understand that either.
I spoke with Rice again today. He tells me that there needs to be transparency and that laws are in place for a reason. According to Arkansas State Code 1610-105, a judge can only close a hearing to the public if they file an articulate and specific reason as to why the public's viewing of the hearing would hinder a defendant's right to a fair trial. So that catches us up to speed on the August 14th arraignment. Since then, 5 News has submitted Freedom of Information Act requests to the Washington County Prosecutor's Office, Public Defender's Office, and the Sheriff's Office, asking for all recorded discussions regarding the decision to close the arraignment to the media. Now, just moments ago, we received a response from the prosecutor's office saying the 4th Judicial District Prosecuting Attorney's Office does not have any records relevant to your request. The decisions referenced in your inquiry were made by the court independently and without any motion or input from this office. I reached out to Judge Joanna Taylor's office multiple times and received the same response each time. We're not going to talk about this case. Earlier today, I spoke with a member of the Judicial Discipline and Disability Committee. They were not able to provide comment on this case, but did tell me there is, quote, rule of judicial conduct that judges are expected to follow.
Bo Russell reporting for us today. We're also expecting a gag order to come out in this case soon. Again, state laws do say a reason has to be given to close a trial or issue a gag order.
That reason, if there is one, has not been made public. We have filed those open records requests and will hopefully have more information soon. New at 6, the head of the Catholic Diocese of Little Rock is joining the growing list of people urging Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders to not use nitrogen gas to execute death row inmates. The calls come just months after the governor signed a bill approving the method. That law was set to go into effect on August 4th. It's now on hold after a group of inmates filed a lawsuit arguing using nitrogen gas violates the state constitution. Earlier today, Bishop Anthony Taylor of the Catholic Diocese of Little Rock shared his thoughts on the method and asked state leaders to reconsider their position on the issue. He said, quote, we must seek alternatives to the death penalty in order to build a more compassionate society. Instead of expanding our state's means of killing through the use of nitrogen gas, we ought to be increasing real support for those harmed by violent crime and promoting a restorative justice system that fosters safer communities.
Got a heads up for registered voters in Pulaski County. A lot of you might need to update your voter status. See, every other year, county clerks are required to maintain up-to-date and accurate voter registration information. That's under Arkansas law and a national law, the Voter Registration Act. Officials in Pulaski County say there are more than 40,000 registered voters who didn't cast a ballot last November. And now those people will receive a postcard in the coming days that asks them to verify their current address or if they've made a change in their address. If a voter doesn't reply within 30 days of getting that card, their registration gets placed in what's called a removable status, and they'll have to re-register possibly to vote before the next election.
Plans for a new park over I-30 in downtown Little Rock starting to move forward. With last night's city board meeting, board members voted 7-2 to approve a study to plan this out. But as CHV 11's Carter Thweet shows us, not all of them like the idea.
Ayes have it. Consent agenda has passed.
Tuesday night, the Little Rock City Board voted to award Arkansas-based engineering firm Garver $2.5 million to plan a potential deck park above I-30, specifically between 9th and 6th Street in downtown. $2 million of those dollars were given to the city by a grant in 2023, but the other $500,000 would come out of the city's Public Works Fund.
We face issues with our city streets and whether or not we spend $500,000 out of our street fund to do this. And I get it. It's just tough to have a conversation with our constituents about why we can't pave roads.
That was Director Lance Hines' reason for skepticism at last week's agenda meeting, but he ended up voting yes, unlike Director Kathy Webb, who voted no, saying the city has enough to worry about without a brand new park.
We have 63 parks, I believe. We don't take care of those parks. This gives me a lot of concern, and we don't take care of the potholes either.
Also against the park is the city's own downtown master plan, led by an independent firm last year. It said alternatives should be looked at due to potential cost concerns, among other things. But Director Virgil Miller, one of the park's bigger supporters, says it would be worth it and provide more than just a fun place to be.
Trying to connect east part of Little Rock with where our downtown, making sure we don't cut that off again, I think is extremely important.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
And as previously mentioned, Miller got his wish with the board approving the planning study to move forward. As far as what will actually be in the park, that's what the planning process is for, with one city board member telling us they plan to get community input on that as the process moves forward.
A stretch of highway from I-40 in North Little Rock up to Highway 67, 167 in Jacksonville, or as we call it now, I-57. That's now officially part of Interstate 440. You're looking at a map that outlines the 4.2-mile-long section that recently redesignated by the Arkansas Department of Transportation. The agency sharing the news this week, explaining that road builders always expected this day to come, with Highway 440 built to interstate standards to eventually make it a part of the federal interstate system. You're looking at video from that area. And as RDOT says, this isn't just a change in signage. The designation opens the door for more economic opportunities in central Arkansas.
An old way to communicate is catching on with a new generation.
Hold the line, caller. Coming up a little later, we'll show you a group of young neighborhood friends who are connecting using landlines. And Tom?
Yeah, I don't have one anymore, but oh, you're talking. Oh, never mind. Weather, burn bans in effect, folks. You would think with the recent rain that some of these counties would have been dropped. Not the case. We added a few more today. Back with a cooler forecast after this.